Hello and welcome to Angry Andy Reviews, and today I'm going to be doing something I've not done for a little while now, a collectible unboxing. And today we're going to look at the Yoda Force FX Elite Lightsaber.
Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews.
Angry Andy. Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews.
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 Don't make me destroy you.
Okay, so yes, the Yoda Force FX Elite Lightsaber. Again, it's a lightsaber created by Hasbro, and I've been collecting these for a little while now. Obviously, I've got a few on my wall there. There's some behind me on the wall there, and there's some on shelving that you can't see. But here we go. So this is the Yoda Force FX lightsaber, and look at it. Look at it. Look at the size of that. Absolutely frigging tiny. It pretty much fits in the palm of my hand. Madness. But yeah, I mean, straight off the bat, one thing I've got to say is this is incredibly light. This is probably the lightest Force FX lightsaber I've had. Close to that was probably the Revan one, which just felt a bit too, flimsy metal-wise. This is extremely light. I feel like I'm going to drop this, and I feel like it's going to break. But there's nothing really to be concerned about. I feel like it's quite, it's quite a solid piece. It just feels like I'm gonna drop it or something. But there you go. So there it is. A nice, lovely shot there of it. So it is machine metal. Obviously, I like this crest over the top here. This is where the emitter is. There is a lovely button there, and that is a button we'll get to very shortly. Doesn't light up though, I'm afraid. It doesn't light up. And there we have the on switch. As you can hear, there's the sound there. There we go. Speaker port is right there at the bottom. And all that jargon, which I hate on these lightsabers. I actually hate all that crap at the bottom there. But never mind. But there you go. There it is. I mean, it does look very good. It captures the light really well. It shines really well. There's a difference here. The black here, that is plastic. And these grips on here, they are rubber as well. So they are rubber grips. Whether they start to decay, like some of the old lightsabers used to. My Vader one in particular, the rubber grips on it started to decay, which is a known issue for the old Master replicas. But there you go. So if you have a look in there, I mean, you probably won't be able to see, but the blade fits in there. And we'll get to the blade in just a second, because it's a bit of an interesting one. It's a bit of an interesting one. What else you get in the pack? Well, obviously, you get a lovely stand, as per always. You always get a nice, lovely stand, which I have started using these ones. These are nice. I like these stands. They feel like they've got a bit of weight to them. They feel quite sturdy as well. You get essentially what is a blade plug. So if you're going to put this on display on your shelf, on your wall, without the blade in it, you can bob that in. And it's kind of like it's a bit of a kyber crystal as well. Just dead quickly, and there. So here is a charging cable, USB-C charging cable. Oh Christ! Don't break anything. Now there is a point on Saber where you lift up one of these rubber bits. So on the top side, you lift up the rubber bit, take that off, and there is a charging port. Can you see it there? Yeah, you can just see it there from reflection. So the USB cable will go into there, and it will light up while it's charging. So this is a pretty brand new thing, I think, to be quite honest. Or I'm mistaken. There was another Saber. There might have been another Saber where they've introduced the USB, but essentially the entire battery compartment is fitted within there, and I think it's about time. A lot of the custom Sabers you get already do this, where it's powered and charged by an internal USB battery, which means it is a lot lighter. So there's no internal chassis to put double A's or triple A's in. Like most of the time you need 3 or 4, and that just adds to the weight. But here everything is small and contained, And there's no difference in the technology, which I'll go through shortly. There's no difference in the technology at all. Everything is what it was, say, for example, in the Luke Skywalker Force Effects Elite, except everything's condensed and it works much better. So going forward, I would hope that Hasbro would do more like this, because it adds to how, you know, takes massive amounts of the weight off. And with some of these bigger, fancier lightsabers, you need that weight removing. So yeah, let us very quickly. Obviously, you get the standard booklet and stuff in, whatever you want. Let me just quickly show you the blade plug. So interestingly enough, you have a look on the top there. There's a little retention screw here, nicely hidden away, and the blade simply sits into that. The blade plug rather sits into that. So we'll pop that in first. Now, initially, I was wondering why it didn't sort of go in all the way, but that's the way it's supposed to look. This bit in particular. So all you do, you just screw that retention plug back in, and there you go. Now, so it made an interesting noise there. There you go. And it lights up inside. So once you put the blade plug in, it lights up the internal kyber crystal, as it were. Now that kyber crystal is supposed to retain some sort of illumination once you finish with it. I'm not sure how long you're supposed to have it in before it retains any illumination, but it's not doing anything there. So it's supposed to be, you know, green. It's not doing anything. So no idea how long that's supposed to be in there, but never mind. But this is the way I'm displaying at the moment, with that inside. So it's nice having that rather than having a bland end cap, which some of the other sabers do. Now I'm going to quickly move on to the blade. So before I activate the saber and show you all the nitty gritty stuff, this is the blade in its entirety, and look at that. I can fit it in the screen. I don't even have to move back. I can fit that in the entirety of the screen. Now the length. Handily got a tape measure here. The length from the tip of the blade to where the emitter goes inside. So let's do up until where the emitter would sit. Hang on a second. So the blade in its entirety up until the end of the emitter is 2 foot long. So that is 24 inches, 61 centimeters if you want to be exact. So 24 inches. So 24-inch blade with the control bit, the connector bit. God damn it. 27 inches. So we're looking at about 24-inch blade, really, aren't we? Comparison that with, I don't know, let's say Luke Skywalker's one. So here we go. Now that obviously doesn't fit in the entirety of the screen. So we've got a 24-inch blade. Oh god. And let's do the full up until there. And there, like up until the portion which would be on the emitter, that's 32 inches. So with a much smaller blade, which, you know, of course it's going to have to be. It's Yoda's lightsaber, isn't it? He didn't have a full size one. But yeah, so everything is to scale. That's what I'm trying to say. Everything is to scale, and I think it works perfectly fine. Now you press the blade in. So I didn't mention, actually, to be fair, when you're putting in either the blade plug or the blade itself, you press it in and you turn it. Yes, you turn it so it locks in place, and then you get the added protection of the retention screw. And I feel like Hasbro should probably do more like this, because it's adding a bit of stability to that blade. The blades are notorious for being wobbly in these sabers, and with the lock in place and the click, and then that nice lovely retention screw there at the top, it just adds that bit of extra protection, and it feels like, you know, that's not too wobbly. There needs to be a bit of wobble, obviously, so the structure doesn't crack inside, but overall, you know, I feel like they need to be doing more like that. So there it is with the blade. I do have to sit back a little bit, but that's it. That's the entirety of the saber with the blade intact. Now, let's just quickly do an overall entire length. Why not? So the entire length of the lightsaber with the blade inside, attached to the saber itself, 31 inches. Well, this is an incredibly small saber, but it looks the part. I think it looks the part purely because, you know, it's almost to scale. Obviously, it's still a little bit bigger probably than what you'd want if you want an exact replica, I think. But in terms of a, you know, a display movie replica, I think it's probably decent enough, as they always are. I think they are decent enough. I wouldn't say that they're completely screen accurate. They're not, but they're decent enough. So here we go. Oh, jeez. So there we are. Nice, lovely green. It has that progressive ignition. We'll just show that again. So where basically, rather than being a staggered ignition, it flows up the blade. Nice. So let's have a look. And there you are. No brakes in that ignition, and no brakes in the deactivation as well. So there are a number of effects. Obviously, you've got the clash. To be fair, that feels very, very sensitive, he says, and then it doesn't do anything. There we go. Right, okay. So more often than not, the clash effect doesn't really seem to work, but that worked okay then. We've got Blastify one. And you can just about see some flashes there, but I think because of the time of day, obviously it's a green blade, you can't really see it. Now if you hold that button down, that's the effects button, essentially, that's what I was saying before. You hold that button down, you get what's the, I think it's supposed to be the battle clash, so when they're locking blades or whatever, and then if you point the blade down, and again hold that button, you get a bit here, this effect. It's supposed to be with melting through doors, but there you go. That is the entirety, pretty much, of the effects on this. There's no smooth swing, there never is on the Hasbro Elite lightsabers. I think it's the only thing that's really missing that would make these somewhat competitive with the custom market. I think the custom market overall rules the roost in terms of, you know, effects, different sound generation, and smooth swing as well. What I mean by smooth swing is when you spin it, you know, it has like a smooth sound. It doesn't feel robotic. Don't really have enough room to. I don't know if you can hear that. So it's okay. It feels quite sensitive, more so than I think other sabers do. But with smooth swing, it feels, you know, like you're actually moving. It's difficult to explain, but you don't get that with these. So what I'm going to do very quickly, I'm just going to take out the blade, and there we are. Now, like I said, interestingly enough, this is a very unique blade. You can't use any of the other blades. So the Luke Skywalker one, it simply will not fit. This is a different size, obviously a different size. It's a lot more slimmer, it's a lot more lighter, and I think it's catered more to the internal electronics of this. So there is no other option but to use this blade. So if you were to get one of these, just purchase the hilt on its own. Somebody's reselling or whatever, you would have to find this particular blade. Interesting enough, the Luke Skywalker one actually has his name on it, which is going to be back to front there. It actually has his name on, but this one doesn't. I don't know what. It seems like Hasbro change what they're going to do time and time again with these sabers, which is what's confusing, and I think adds a lot of confusion to the market as well. But there you go. So that is it. That is the Force Effects Elite Jedi Master Yoda lightsaber. Like I said, I wanted one of these for a very long time. I did consider getting getting a custom one, but then obviously this one came out, and I think on balance, I think it does look very nice. I think it is very good. It's nice to finally have, you know, an official lightsaber. I know they did one quite a few years ago. I think it was Master Replicas did one quite a few years ago, but they were quite hard to get hold of. But this, on balance, I think is a really good saber. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. What do you think? Have you got one of these? Do you collect these sabers? What are you looking forward to most? I do collect all these. I don't collect all of them, obviously, because some characters I don't want. But what I'm looking forward to, I'm hoping they do a Qui-Gon Jinn saber. Hopefully, I think we've had everybody else. Let's have a Qui-Gon Jinn saber, and then we'll go from there. What characters do you want? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Gonna put that on there. There we go. See how nicely it fits? Lovely jubbly. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. What sabers would you like to see? What are your opinions on the Hasbro sabers? Is there any good custom sabers I should be looking at and getting into? Let me know what you think. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.